Hello, my name is Mark Anthony Dubose Jr., and I was born July 4th, 1986. Today is an amazing day. It's raining. It's raining here in Texas, central to Texas. That it hasn't been raining here for a couple of months, so it's kind of a real nice relief to be able to have to. I don't know what it is. Sometimes when it's dry, I get a little nervous when it's too dry. You know, I always got that joke that you run too fast out here and the field will catch on fire, but that's literally been going on all around the world, and thankfully it hasn't really gone on too much around here. That it's been hot, but it hasn't been an abnormal hot. It's just been the normal hot. A lot of people are just complaining a little bit that it's more than it used to be, and it isn't. It's the same old. If anything, this year is better than other years that I've noticed. But something fascinating about going on a walk today and coming to the end of it and feeling it start raining and realize that I can say thank you for not raining on me while I was out there today. You know, I probably would have enjoyed it, but I enjoy it more sitting here looking at it from the sidelines. But something I was thinking a lot about is just how everything out here is going completely against what this Bible is stating for us to do. And if everything is set up in a way like that, it makes me really question, like, what is actually going on here? Because when you're in here reading something, and you're reading things and you see what's going on, and then you see that the world is going completely against it and trying to do the opposite effect of it, it makes you think, like, how powerful really is this book? Or how meaningless is it? Because the way that I look at it is, how powerful is it? Because all I see today is things getting more and more into more confusion. More confusion of you don't know who you are. More, just tragically don't know who you are. And the reasons we're getting to the point that we don't know who we are, it used to just be a situation when I was young of realizing that a lot of black people, Mexican people, Indian people just had in their minds of we're confused, like identity crisis. You didn't know who you were. You didn't understand yourself. You didn't get it. You don't know why we're here, what's going on, and I knew a lot about that because I saw that. And I saw that with a lot of what I would say is a lot of crime that was going on. A lot of crime where I grew up and where I was from, and it's still going on there. But when I was younger, it was really, really bad with the amount of crime that's going on. And in reality, they're going to have more and more crime when you don't understand who you are, when you're very confused of like what's happening with you and what your role should be, where you should go, and how you should act and how you should respond, and anything like that. That you're going to have more tragic things go on around you. And now today, I just realize it's with everybody now. There's no longer a color with it, which is fascinating to me. That now it's majority of people are running into, I don't know who I am, and I don't know what I'm about. I don't know what I should be. I don't know what I should do. I don't know where I should go. I don't even know what my name is. I don't know if I'm a girl. I don't know if I'm a grandma. I don't know any of that. I'm not sure. I don't know. And it's very interesting when we start to run into that level of confusion, because I'm telling you, this Bible tells you who you are. It tells you all about what we're all about, what we're going to continue to keep on doing, what we've been doing. But the one thing it does say is it explains to you who you are, and explains to you a lot of where it is that you should go, and explains to you what it is that you should do, and explains a whole lot to us, a whole lot. So it's very interesting on how I see this book as being attacked today more than ever, which makes me want to dig into it and go further and further into it more and more, realizing what I'm doing is on some mission that's different than the mission out there. Because the more that I keep on reading this, the more I learn about who I am. The more I learn about myself, the more I realize that I'm a dude on this planet that's on a mission to just make sure that I'm paying attention to God's laws and God's decrees and God's commands. And then once I'm able to do that, I realize there's some interesting stuff that goes on in my life. Now, this past couple of days, I've been a little challenged, I guess I could say, with trying to get what it is that I'm looking for, and trying to ask for what it is that I'm looking for, and trying to like plead with God in a way, in a little bit, to say, hey man, I need this. Like, this is something that I need. That, I'm not saying that I still am in a situation with that, where I'm questioning a lot with that. But I never question, who am I? What am I doing? What's happening out here? Where am I going? What do I need to work on? What do I need to stay away from? What is it that I should pursue? What is it that I should try to help other people out with? I figure out all those answers by reading this book. And when I see more and more people today that are just running into the situation that you don't know who you are, it's because you're getting further and further and further and further and further and so far away from understanding the commands and the laws and the decrees of God that you are in a horrible situation, that you're questioning every little thing. You're questioning everything, down to the point of what you look like when you stand up and get in front of a mirror. I used to say that and do that to myself all the time, just not even a little over a year ago. I was standing and looking in the mirror and saying, who is that guy? Like, I didn't recognize myself. I didn't know who I was. What is this? I look at myself, go away, come back, look at myself, like, who the heck is that guy? I remember a lot of my first videos I did. It was so strange that I would make a video going out there, like talking about one of my dogs, for instance. That's what I started off with. That's what I felt confident in. I knew I could talk about dogs real easily. That was my to get into making videos and to be able to understand myself a little bit more. But I would watch back a video and I'm like, who the heck is that guy? I didn't recognize my voice. I didn't recognize how I looked. I didn't recognize how I moved. I didn't recognize anything about me. It was so strange. It was just a wild thing. And it's such a wild thing for me to feel and be able to experience that if I'm in a position like that, someone can easily come to me and tell me who I am and persuade to me what I am and tell me that I should switch from this and go to that. No, I should change from this and go to that. No, you're not really that because you don't act that way. So now you're going to be this. And they could have easily have done that because I didn't know anything. But then I started to really get in tune with following the commands that God is looking for me to, and then I started to understand more of who I am. I started to be able to wake up and say, hey, this is me. This is what I'm about. Hey, I'm right here. This is, I'm capable of this. I'm capable of this. I've been doing this, and this is what I represent. It's been able to just get stronger to the point that today it's very, very fascinating thing for me to be able to be in, that I would wish that more people would be able to get closer and closer and get into. And I'm going to read something today in the book of Deuteronomy in the 11th chapter. I'm going to read a few things today because some of this is just, it just explains to us what it is that we need to work upon and what it is that we need to do. That the more and more I watch some simple videos, I see how we're disrespecting every single one of these commandments today and just thinking that it's funny and thinking that it's normal. That yesterday I got a little sad in my feelings with just watching some things because I'm like, this is how we treat people now? And we laugh at it and think it's cool and think it's all right? That we laugh upon breaking all these commands because what is it? It's easy to do. It's not so simple to live by them. It's easy to just go to that evil, go to that disaster, go to that trauma, go to that danger, go to all of that. It's so easy to do that. But we got to do everything in our power to fight to get from that. So I'm going to read this. It says, Love the Lord your God and keep his requirements, his decrees, his laws, and his commands always. Remember today that your children were not the ones who saw and experienced the discipline of the Lord your God, his majesty, his mighty hand, his outstretched arm, the signs he performed, and the things he did in the hearts of the Egyptian, both to Pharaoh king of Egypt and to his whole country. What he did to the Egyptian army, to its horses and chariots, how he overwhelmed them with the waters of the Red Sea as they were pursuing you, and how the Lord brought lasting ruin on them. It was not your children who saw what he did for you in the wilderness until you arrived at this place. And then we go down to verse 8. Observe therefore all the commandments I am giving you today, so that you may have the strength to go in and take over the land that you are crossing the Jordan to possess, and so that you may live there in the land the Lord swore to your ancestors to give to them and their descendants, a land flowing with milk and honey. The land you are entering to take over is not like the land in Egypt from which you came, where you planted your seed and irrigated it by foot as a vegetable garden, but the land you are crossing to Jordan to take to possession of its land in the mountains and valleys that drinks rain from heaven, it is the land your Lord, your God, carries for you. The eyes of the Lord, your God, are continually on it, and from the beginning of the year to the end. So if you fully obey the commands I am giving you today, to love the Lord your God, and to serve him with all your heart and all your soul, then I will send rain on the land in its season, both autumn and spring rains, so that you may gather your grain, new wine, and olive oil. I will provide grass in the fields for your cattle, and you will eat and be satisfied. Be careful, or you will be enticed to turn away and worship other gods and bow down to them, then the Lord's anger will burn against you, and he will shut up the heavens so that it will not rain, and the ground will not yield produce, and you will soon perish from the good land from the Lord has given you. Fix these words of mine in your hearts and minds. Tie them as symbols on your hands, and bind them in your foreheads. Teach them to your children, talking about them when you sit at home, when you walk along the road, when you lie down, and when you get up. Write them on your door frames of the houses and your gates, so that your days and the days of your children may be many in the land the Lord swore to give your ancestors, and many as the days in heavens above the earth. If you carefully observe all the commands I am giving you to follow, to love the Lord your God, to walk in obedience with him, and to hold fast to him, then the Lord will drive out all these nations before you, and you will dispossess nations larger and stronger than you. Every place where you set your foot will be yours. Your territory will extend from the desert and go on. And then we're going to go to, and no one will be able to stand against you, the Lord your God, as he promised you. He will put the terror and the fear of the whole land wherever you go. See, I am setting before you today a blessing and a curse. The blessing if you obey the commands of the Lord your God that I am giving you today. The curse if you disobey the commands of the Lord your God and turn from the way that I command you today by following other gods, which you have not known. When the Lord your God has brought you into the land you are entering to possess, you are able to proclaim on Mount the blessings. And I just want to stop reading there. Nope, let's read verse 32. Be sure that you obey all the decrees and the laws I am setting before you today. Something that, when I read a lot of this, it makes me, I want to read something else here, and then I want to talk about what I want to talk about. Chapter 18, Deuteronomy, verse 9. When you enter the land your God is giving you, do not learn or imitate the detestable ways of the nations there. Let no one be found among you who sacrifices their son or daughters in the fire, who practices divination or sorcery, interprets omens, engages in witchcraft, or casts spells, or who is a medium or spiritist, or who consults the dead. Anyone who does these things is detestable to the Lord. Because of these same detestable practices, the Lord your God will drive out the nations before you. You must be blameless before the Lord your God. And then I want to continue reading on verse 14. The nation you will dispossess, listen to those who practice sorcery or divination. But as for you, the Lord your God has not permitted you to do so. The Lord your God will raise up for you a prophet like me from among you, from your fellow Israelites. You must listen to him. For this is what you asked of the Lord your God at Horeb on the day of the assembly, when you said, let us not hear the voice of the Lord your God, nor see the great fire anymore, or we will die. The Lord said to me, what they say is good. I will raise up for them a prophet like you from among the fellow Israelites, and I will put my words in his mouth. He will tell them everything I command him. I myself will call to account anyone who does not listen to my words that the prophet speaks in my name. But a prophet who presumes to speak in my name anything I have not commanded, or a prophet who speaks in the name of other gods, is to be put to death. You may say to yourselves, how can we know that the message is not been spoken by the Lord? If what a prophet proclaims in the name of the Lord does not take place or come true, that message of the Lord has not spoken. That prophet has spoken presumptuously, so do not be alarmed. I read all this, and it makes me not look at the world today when we are confused with who we are and don't know what's right from wrong and doing everything that's wrong, thinking that it's right. When I read all this, it's letting me know that God is moving. There's not no enemy. It's not no devil. And when I start hearing and watching this stuff here going on with like what's going on in colleges even today, there's separations. There's places that white people are no longer able to go. Like we're going backwards with segregation in reality. There's places where colored people need to be able to feel safe, and white people aren't allowed to go there. And they're setting up things with the LGBTQ. I think I got that right, that they're only allowed to be in there and no one else is allowed to be able to come around. And we're segregating people. And the segregation of people in just what I read with what I see here is what God is doing. That he's weeding out to be able to allow you to be able to easily see what's true and what's not. And he's weeding out to be able to just very, very simply, so that you could just take a look at, not even having to speak to understand what's coming from him and what's not. And it's something that I don't know why I was hearing something and then I ended up taking a nap and then woke up just knowing like God is so powerful and he's so amazing, he's so great and so wonderful. And that's the beauty of what it is that he does, to be able to let you know what's false and what's right. Because when you're going against all the commands, that's not going to be a right thing to do. And when you're going against all the commands, it's going to be something that God is going to be able to make a big separation of his people, of saying that's my people and those are not my people. And then you're going to run into the situation where those people that are not the people, because they're going against all the commands, because they're not doing what they need to do, they're not even going to have it in them to be able to fight to attack God's people. Because God's going to protect his people. He's going to push that away to keep on working upon his people. That's why it's something that is just super interesting that I see going on today, with everything being so divided and so separated, that I was just felt confused for a long while. But then I just come to realize, like, it's a beautiful thing that we are getting divided, so that we can actually figure out what's what and what we should do and what we should stay away from, and where we should pursue more and where to figure it out. Because you're going to run into a situation that you're going to want to know who you are. You're going to want to be able to figure out more about yourself. You're going to want to be able to learn what's going on with you and why you do this and why you're like that and why you're confused and why you can't ever find any joy, why you can't find any peace, why everything that you do just doesn't seem to want to last. It just falls apart in days, and you're happy for a minute, but then you're nothingness and nobody the next minute. You're going to want to start to get answers to these questions. And these answers are going to come by people that are going by and living by and understand and preach and talk about the Bible. And that's why today I just have a big thing of realizing that majority of the churches, if not every single church I've been to personally, everyone, 100% of them, are not teaching what this Bible is teaching. So if they're not teaching what this Bible is teaching, they're not going to be able to help you get into the situation that you need to be able to get into. And if they're constantly keep on doing that, you're going to start to see the separation start to happen. And that's why for me, I personally already see it, especially when I just drive down my road down here and just see the differences of how the different symbols and the different things that are put up on every single church. They're all so confused. And a church shouldn't be confused. And a church shouldn't be divided. And a church shouldn't be in a situation where one minute they're like, we're on it over here, but the next minute they're dancing around passages and scriptures to try to get and gain more people to come in and want to be able to listen. That's not at all what the church is here to do. The church is here to hit you with some heavy information. That's what Jesus came here to do. That I don't understand this new Jesus that everyone talks about today. This new Jesus that is just, he's like that's a perfect word. He's like some hippie that's just high all the time and just like, yeah, that's good, man. That's good, man. That's all good, man. Like, that's not who he is at all in any sort of way. He's not some stoned out guy that's just preaching a message of just like everything is good, everything is smooth, everything is relaxed. No, he's coming in, and he even says it himself. I'm coming in with the level of division. I'm coming back with a double-edged sword. I'm coming back to divide, and that's what I see. I see that happening. I see a divide. I see a separation. I see a change going on where he's putting people over here and other people over there. That is exactly what Jesus is doing, and that is exactly what's going on today. It's such an interesting thing, like an interesting phenomenon to be able to see such a thing and to be able to witness it and hear about it and be able to actually like be in it, be a part of it. Watch how some people do this and other people do that, and seeing how they want to look at each other like they're that's the enemy, and that person, that's the enemy. And then you just see a whole other group of people, the group of people that I feel like I don't feel like I know, like where I walk on and I walk in. I don't care what you do. I don't care where you go. I don't care how you want to act. I don't care none of that. All I care about is the day that you make a decision to say, you know what, I want to do something different because what I'm doing and where I'm at is not giving me what I want, and I want to figure out how to be able to get closer to understand and know who God is. And I was like, okay, now we can have a conversation. Now we can talk. Now we can go. But it's not going to be a conversation of everything you're doing is good to go, man. You're good. You're good, sister. Just keep sleeping with all that you want, and you're going to find the peace that you need. Keep on doing all the drugs that you want. You're going to find all the peace you need. Keep on doing all these damaging things and just keep on. You'll find your peace. No, I'm going to come in and hit you with the stuff that Jesus has hit me with, that this Bible has hit me with, to make me realize that there's some things that we have to work on, and there's things that we absolutely have to work on. We don't just wake up and everything is just good to go. You don't just pray to say, hey, Jesus, please forgive me, and then you're forgiven. No, you got a lot of forgiving to do your own dang on self before Jesus is even going to be able to forgive you. You got to forgive everyone around you. You got to be able to walk up to someone and say, I know you hurt me, I know you damaged me, I know you destroyed me, but it's okay. I don't care. I really just don't care. And I'm not going to say put myself in a position to allow you to do it again, but I don't care what you even want to do in the future because I'm done with that. I'm going to move on. And then Jesus is like, I hear you. I hear you. And then God's going to be able to come into you. Now God's going to be able to do something for you. Now you're out there just hating and slandering and lying on people and lying on God and doing stuff like that. Guys, you got a lot that you need to work on. You got a lot that you need to fix. You got a lot that you need to start paying more and more and more attention to and realizing that it's not the outside that's going to fix you. It's only you, your own self. You got to do something to you. You got to change you up. No one else is going to change you. Only you are. And that's the fake message that I see going on today all the time, everywhere. It's just the same thing. They did it to you. They're the problem. They're the reason you're struggling. They're why you're not going to be able to make it where you can make it. They did that. They stole this. They took the land. They took your ancestors out. No, what about you? What are you doing? Because when I read this Bible, everything was already fulfilled with giving us the land and being able to live in it, giving us our place to be able to be. And then we destroyed it because we decided to go to other gods. We decided to go do other things. We decided to disrespect God. We decided to give up on him. We decided to just put him away. We decided to just completely run away from him. It had nothing to do with God didn't provide and didn't do what it is he said he was going to do. It's for us to get back on his commands, to get back on his laws, to get back on his decrees, and get back into his love, and to be able to have his forgiveness. And then we're going to be able to move into a completely different place on this planet. It's very interesting when I just sit and look at the life that I have, that sometimes I question the whole thing of this land stuff and being able to live and being able to do. And I just look at my life and I'm just like, it's a very interesting thing that the more and more that I keep on studying this Bible, the more and more shifts that go on in my world, that go on in my life, that I don't have to worry so much about certain things. And it's a very interesting thing. It just truly is. And it's something that I have to realize my own self with what's going on. It's not the outside world did this to me, that somebody owes me this because of what color you are, what color I am, and anything like that. Nobody owes me anything. I owe myself to get more closer to God, and then God's going to be able to work and be able to do for me. He's going to be able to make something happen for me. He's going to be able to do something to be able to help my life out. And it's not the opposite way around, that God's going to keep on doing for me when I'm just being absolutely disrespectful and disobedient. I don't understand that message that's going on today. I don't understand the need to make you feel good and not actually get you to be good. I don't understand that situation. It's something that it lets me know exactly what this Bible states, that you'll know what the prophets, you'll know the teachers, you'll know the elders, you'll know the pastors, the priests, the ministers, you'll know which ones are real. Because if they're not going by the Bible, stating what the Bible is looking for you to do, stating what God is looking for you to do, then he's clearly not an appropriate teacher. And that's something right up front that you could hit every single one of them. Where's the commands at? How come you're not this? How come you're not that? How about this? How about that? How come you're telling me that everything is great with me and I'm good to go, even though I'm doing something that I told you that I shouldn't be doing, that God specifically said not to do? Why aren't you rebuking me about that? Why aren't you challenging me with that? Why aren't you disciplining me about that? Instead of allowing me to just keep on doing it, thinking that it's just going to be okay. That's something that is getting very, very confusing today. Very confusing. And that's why, for me, I have a very good, clear vision of being able to see the division of people and the confusion of people. The such mass high level of confusion that people don't even know who they are, to the point that you don't even know what your gender is. You don't know what your race is anymore. Nobody knows anything anymore. People are getting so confused that you're just dabbling, like, maybe I'm this and let me try that for a little bit. Maybe I'm that and let me try that for a little bit. But every single time that you try to switch and do something different, you're going to keep on realizing that it's still not giving you what you need. It's still not giving you it's still not going to fix you. It's still not going to bring you satisfaction. It's still not going to bring any joy to you. It's still not going to put any love in you. It's still not going to do any of that. It's still not going to bring no forgiveness in you. It's still not going to bring any sort of peace to you. You're still going to be struggling. You're still going to be damaged. You're still going to be destroyed. You're still going to be hurting. And the only way to get out of that is to get on living by God's commands, living by his laws. And that is required of us to do. That is absolutely required. And this new stuff of all this witchcraft stuff and all this voodoo stuff and all of that, that's forcing you to be so far away that you think that it's going to help you. And I'm telling you, all you're doing is hurting yourself. And to me, I don't know what it is, but it's very, very easy. It's very easy. Like everyone has, you could tell by tattoos, piercings, and hairstyles today what you're following and what you're doing. It's very interesting, the pull that's being pulled into that. And that's where you could have very clear, easy distinction of seeing who is who and who represents what and what is what. It's just such an interesting thing that I don't think people pay attention to. I don't think people pay attention to the fact that when you're following some wrong stuff, you start to look like that wrong stuff. And you're just like subconsciously doing it, that you start to actually look like that person. You're no longer like just wearing similar clothing styles, but you're actually like looking like that person. Your body figure starts to change to look exactly like that person. All your habits start to change to be just like that person. And that's some serious witchcraft, demonic crap that goes on this planet. And it's an interesting thing because it's such a satanic Satan type thing, because he's like, I want all my people to look the same. I want to be able to see them from a distance and be able to know who my people are. And he's putting stuff inside of you that's giving you these images, these looks, this energy, this trash that's just absolutely destroying you. And someone would say, oh, you don't know. And I would say, you get happy for 5 minutes, and then you got to do a next thing to be able to get it, and then a next thing. I've seen all these spell books. I've seen all these card reading books. I've seen all these things where you got to do all these rituals and all these sacrifice things. I've seen it all. It's if that didn't work, then let's go to this. If that didn't work, then let's go to this. If that didn't work, then go to this and 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 go to that and go to that, to the point that now you're killing kids. And there's unfortunate songs about stuff like that. Let's go up to the I don't even want to say it. There's songs talking about getting rid of kids and using them as sacrifices. There's stuff out there that you're listening to it, and then you're thinking, like, yeah, I could do that. Just because the kid isn't alive for you to be able to hold it, and if you're sitting there getting rid of it beforehand, you're doing sacrifices to the devil. And the more that you keep doing that, the more, say, power you will get. And it's going to be a very short-term thing, and I'm telling you, you're going to lead to absolute mass destruction, chaos in the end. Absolute destruction. Like, that's just going to happen. And what you're going to have to keep on doing is the next ritual and the next ritual and the next ritual. And you're going to be fiending for it. It's a drug addiction. You're going to be fiending for it. You're not going to be able to get away from it. You're going to have to just keep doing it and stay in it because you want to find that relief. Or you're going to end up just harming yourself. And you're going to harm yourself to the point that you're no longer around on this planet. But that's why you're going to do that next ritual. That's why you're going to make that next thing. That's why you're going to go out there and do something absolutely savage to somebody to try to figure out how to be able to just survive a minute. And that's been going on in what I saw growing up as a little kid, with all these gangs fighting each other. They got to kill that person, kill that person. They're just going back and forth all the time just to be able to survive, just to stay alive. And they have to do that. They have to keep doing that because it's such a demonic pull that's put on that. You're just getting further and further and further into it. Then you try to get away from it, and it's going to drag you. It's going to drag you way back. It's going to drag you way down. It's going to absolutely destroy you. It's going to destroy you because you can't get out of it. You can't get away from it. And it's just not going to want to let you go so simply. And that's why you got to pray even more. That's why you got to spend more effort, more of your time, more of your energy on understanding who God is and getting closer and closer to Him, reading more and more. And you're going to have to dedicate your entire life to God to get away from some of this and majority of all this demonic stuff that's out there. It's not helping you. It's making you confused. And then the worst part of it is it makes you confused. So then you want everyone else around you to also be confused. And then when you get more people to be confused like you're confused, you feel a little satisfaction. And then you're like, okay, now I need to get the next one. Now I got to get the next one. Now I got to get, and then you just start pulling in more people. And then you start pulling in more people. Then you're like, now we got a bunch together. Now let's try to attack those people. We're going to attack those people. We're going to attack that person. You can't wear crosses in certain places now because it may offend somebody. That's so ridiculous. It's so crazy. It's so maddening. It's so just, it's laughable to me today because all I can say is like, do something about it to me. I believe what I believe and I'm going to stick firm to it. I don't care. It just is what it is. And I would say to anybody, try to do something about it. Tell me that what I'm saying, what I believe, and what I talk about is wrong and that you got a better way. Show me that better way. Show me the reality. Show me that you're doing good. Show me that you've got peace inside of you. Show me that you actually care about the next person and not try to manipulate them, to try to steal and try to take something from them. Show me. And I just don't ever see that. I don't ever see it. All I see is just damaged, destroyed, hurt people that are lying, that are having to wear stuff, put stuff on, do stuff to try to make yourself seem like acceptable to the world so someone would actually be able to see you, be able to pay attention to, be able to notice you. If you were confident, secure with yourself, the way that God gets you to be, you wouldn't need to do all this extra stuff to try to be able to get at least any sort of validation and to be seen. It's something that is just, it's maddening. And with that, man, I just want to say thank you for a very interesting day of, this rain is strange, but I greatly appreciate it. And the way that it just got like super light out. It's super strange. It's very strange because it's something that I've been praying a lot about, and that's been been rain because it hasn't been raining. And it actually came through, and it actually is here. And I'm hoping that it just continue to keep on coming day after day after day. Because I want my main field to grow back again. It already looks like it's doing something already, and I want that to come back. So I got some plans and some things that I need to be able to do. It's something that God in reality promises us on some things. And that's what I've been working on, to be able to figure out how to stay in his blessings and get out of his curses. That I've been living in his curses since the day I moved out here. Everything's been struggling. Everything's been hard. Everything's been hit heavy. Everything's been very, very challenging. And I've just now, finally now, starting to get into the place of things are actually looking pretty good. Things are starting to become a little smoother. Things are just, it just worked out. And I know that is a result of paying closer and closer attention to the commands and the laws and the decrees of God. Because when I'm doing that, he tells me what I'm going to get. He tells me what I need to do, and he tells me what I'm going to get. And if I stick to that and stay with that, and I start to see what he tells me I'm going to get, how could I want to go anywhere else or do anything else? Because I'm not doing anything to like try to set this. I don't have to sacrifice anything. I don't have to give up on anything. I don't have to let go of anything. All I have to do is just keep on getting and gaining some stuff. I let go of attitude and mindset of some things about other stuff out here, but I don't have to actually give up. I don't have to go and slaughter no chicken and put some other feathers with it and find me a snake and get me some pinto beans and some black beans and go find me a couple of leaves and do all that and then put this all here. I don't have to do any of that. I don't have to do none of that. And doing that is setting you up for absolute failure. And I'm thankful that I don't have to do it. I'm thankful that God doesn't require that. I'm thankful that God evolved where we evolved as people on this planet, to realizing that we do different stuff today, and that's the whole purpose of Jesus, that I no longer have to grab me a chicken or a couple of doves or a lamb or any of that and have to do any sort of sacrifice with that and burning that and set the altar up and building my thing and building a fire pit and praying to it and doing any of that. I'm so glad that I don't have to do any of that. And that's a beautiful thing to be able to live by on this planet. But there's something else out here that's convincing you that you still need to do that. And that's where that goes 100% away and against what the Bible is stating for us to be doing. It's a very interesting thing that goes on out here. And I'm very thankful to be able to just realize what is actually helping and what is actually bringing me into a better place, as opposed to what it is that's giving me a short boost, a short little thing, a short little feel goods for a moment. And it's something powerful about this Bible, because again, I'm going to say, if the entire world is trying to go completely against it and trying to get everyone away from it, it makes me wonder, like, what's going on? And it's not in a way that it's bad, it's dangerous, it's harmful, it's hurting in any way. It's actually more helpful to go further into it than to go away from it. It's way more helpful. And I want more people to be able to have that and experience that, as opposed to experience the just difficulties that you're having, that you can't get over your grieving. You can't get over your addictions. You can't get over your lusts. You can't get over your desires of just don't feel like you have enough. Like, I want to be able to help you get through that. And the way to be able to get through that is by paying attention to God's laws, paying attention to his commands. And you're going to be able to find that peace that you're looking for. You're going to be able to get away from those addictions that you're struggling with. You're going to be able to get through that forgiveness that you've been seeking and asking for. You're going to be able to get through that grieving that's going on with you. You're going to be able to get through the sticky situations that people did to you that you're just like, I don't know how I'm going to be able to get through this. I can't stand and can't get past the thought in my mind of somebody violating me. God can help you get through that. Just pay attention to his commands and live by them. Pay attention to his laws and live by them. And you're going to be able to find what it is that you're looking for. Thank you.